So, Shima Linda, I'm very excited to be here today talking about your wonderful gift and offering, the Vas Pesh. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you received this gift?
I was a dedicated healthcare professional working in the cardiovascular lab uh, with Stanford Medical Center and many other medical centers. And we were doing the first global or united through the United States um, closed heart surgery. We were doing cardiac caths and angioplasties. And what this is through x-ray, you either make a little incision through the brachial artery or in the groin, and then you run a little catheter up there and you shoot contrast into the different vessels that's feeding the heart or the different chambers, so you can see where the blockages are
Mm.
and see where there might be dis-ease within the heart system. That was in the very beginning when lead aprons were about 25 pounds a piece, and they hung from your shoulders down to your knees and nothing in back.
Well,
And so 15, 16-hour days with this lead on, and we were a teaching hospital. So we couldn't take the lead off in a way that the doctor's students um, would not take them. So that was 16 years of running around like a chicken with my head cut off,
wow,
basically.
that sounds.
Uh, and so then what happened with that was um, my nutrition was not anything that it should have been. I was a junk food vegetarian, which meant that I felt like I was still getting the proper kind of dairy through cheese puffs. And I thought that, I was getting my vegetables through popcorn and different things like that. And I was convinced because I was always on the go, along with the caffeine, along with everything. And it was just burning the candle at every end possible. What ended up happening for me was I got burnout big time. I had a mental breakdown. I had a financial breakdown and bankruptcy. Then with my own body, I had kidney failure. I had endometriosis. And so wearing the lead aprons all the time brought spurring and lipping to my vertebrae and my spine. It also brought bulging discs and herniated discs. And it also then is when I realized, because I started having x-rays about all this pain, that I was born with spina bifida occultus. And spina bifida occultus is where you can usually get it in two places. I have it in both, in the upper head, or excuse me, in the neck, where the head reaches onto the neck, and down in the lower back in the hips area. So at one point it just was too much, and I had to quit. And so I realized that Western medicine really wasn't for me, and I needed to start taking care of myself, or making change, creating change here quickly. And so at this point, my total body broke down, and I couldn't really get out of bed. I couldn't really do much of anything without pain or just any energy. So I started having dreams, the just kind of like inner knowing, do this, do that. And it first came in where I would hear some voices. They kind of sounded familiar, and they would say, okay, hold your fingers. Just hold your fingers. You can do that. You're just laying there. You're not really doing anything else. So hold your fingers until you feel a balanced pulse, and then move to the next one, the next one, and the next one. If you're having trouble sleeping, hold your fingers. Many times today, I can't even get all the way around before I'm sleeping again. But so by doing this, I started bringing the energy back to my body, because our fingers are like jumper cables. I started doing this and I started feeling better. I started looking at my nutrition. Learning about nutrition was a huge part of my healing and the gift that was coming to me. So I started learning these things, and they kept giving me one step after I did that one. They gave me another little step, and they started talking to me about moving energy within my hands and how that would help the heart, and it would help the stress or the grief, or it would help with breathing and asthma and all that. And so that just intrigued the hell out of me. The more I did as I was told, the more energy I got, the healthier I got. A couple months later, after I was really on my journey and getting into this, I met an amazing woman, um, my helpmate, Maria Yraceburu, and she showed me how to run energies in ways that I never knew possible. And I had been into college, I had taken physics, I had taken all those kind of, things and sciences that I needed to take, but none of them really helped me to understand what exactly the body was doing energetically. Then Maria went one step further and she gave me all of the teachings of her grandfather Tim Bears, who was a medicine man. And his teachings were all about the different ley lines, the different kiang or chakra, we call them. In his amazing teachings of this energy, it was like it was all downloaded. And I woke up one day going, oh, that's what that is. Oh, oh, oh. I think it was a few years after that, I had the amazing opportunity to live with and spend time with Juliette de Barclay-Levy, grandmother of the herbs, who eventually became my kind of adopted Rom Gypsy grandmother. When I got to spend time with her, she was in her 90s. Wow. And so there were 6 of us that just, she kept us on our feet and kept us moving. And so I would always ask her in the time that we got to spend together was, can you read my hands? Because she was a palmist and she used to read hands. Nope, can't do that. Why, Juliet? Why can't you read my hands? That's all I want from you is please read my. Nope, can't do that. And she says, you can see past, present, and future in the hands. And I have read and observed thousands and thousands of hands. And I saw how really, really, really bad this man was. And I chose never to do it again. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. I can handle that, I guess. I'll get that information somehow, some way. And so we were with her we got to spend time with her and live with her for maybe a year and a half or 2 years. And we were getting ready to be called to our next place of business, so to speak. The elders were calling us to move on to the next space. And she came up to me, and she takes both of my hands, and she gets really quiet. And all of a sudden, she starts doing stuff, like pushing on them and spinning them and doing all this weird stuff. And she says, Lynda, this is the medicine of your people. Use it, share it, and be well. And she walked away.
When you say the medicine of your people, tell us a little bit about your heritage.
I am a Magyar Romani Chochapishavani. I am a Hungarian Rom Gypsy traditional healer. I didn't always know that I was a Rom healer. I always knew that I had this massive infatuation for the body and its own innate healing abilities. And that's what I wanted to do. I would like to share the hand, and I would like to share what it has to show us. Not in every great detail, but there's enough there that we can at least be aware of what our hands are trying to tell us. And the different ways that we can quickly and easily work with our hands to create change, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. I want to share it to anybody that will listen, and everybody that will listen, because it's so wonderful. You can use it anytime, anywhere. You can use it for just about anything. You can use it for headaches, and you can use it for colds and stuffy nose and heart attacks and no energy and eating disorders and sleeping disorders, and what basically the brain can think of, you can do with this.
It's like a full body medicine.
It is like a full body medicine, and I can hit every place on the body just by hitting the hands, the fronts and the backs of the hands. Vas Pesh also shows us the language that our body is trying to tell us. So our body, just by looking at the colors, our body could say, look at our hands and we say, oh, my hands are hot, dry, and shiny. Okay, I better look at my thyroid. See how I can, get that back on track, or where is that?
Yes.
I could look at my hands and go, whoa, these things are red into next week. And they're hot and they're moist. Okay, those are about kidneys, high blood pressure. What I would really like is to really plant the seed that this can be used anytime, anywhere. It is miraculous in its healing, quickly. And it's amazing to do your friend or, anybody else that needs it. With Vas Pesh, it's really, currently, it's set up to where one class to learn it. And every time you come back, you hear or learn something else because it's just so full of information. So I often get a lot of people who will come back and get a refresher. It really is beautiful. And I do. I have so many miraculous stories of Vas Pesh.
So how long have you been practicing Vas Pesh?
In its form today, it's been about 30 years.
Wow. And I see you have this little handout. Why don't you hold up this little handout? This is what people get in the class.
That's my handout.
That's right. The magnetic version.
Yes.
So
I also have it in a magnetic copy.
Yes,
so you
awesome.
can so you don't forget, because it's so easy. It's so easy to forget.
Lynda, tell us real quick your full beautiful name.
Lynda, Black Coyote, Dancer of the Universal Crack, Essence of the Rainbow, Yraceburu.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. I think it's going to be a great class. Thank you for sharing with us. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to my share, and Loko monogosee, from the light of my heart.
Aho.